My story, age 13, 1986. I vividly remember being 13 years old and the new girl in 8th grade. It was 1986 in Princeton, New Jersey. I was an only child, and I had just transferred back to public school after several years as a student in a fancy private school. My mother had remarried the year before, and the additional income my new stepfather brought to the table put us somewhere between losing my need-based scholarship and being able to afford the full tuition. I spent most of my time alone. I didn't really belong with my more affluent peers, but seemed to have little in common with the kids in my neighborhood, many of whom I didn't even know. That meant a fresh start for 8th grade and a public school near my dad and stepmother's house. While that prospect was scary, I was ready for it. Switching schools was going to open doors and allow me to reinvent myself. I was awkward, and I wore the wrong clothes. I was, or had been, the scholarship kid, and everyone knew it. And if that wasn't enough, I was a blurter. I may have been an ADHD kid, but back then teachers just told my mother that I was a daydreamer who couldn't seem to work to her potential. I was easily distracted and would allow myself to wander into dreamy wormholes during class or at the lunch table, achieving Walter Mitty-like trances where I would become almost completely unaware of my surroundings. And then I would blurt out something that reflected the reality in my head. I think we can all agree that is not a prescription for being cool in middle school. I did not let my social awkwardness stop me, however. I had a picture of who I wanted to be at my new school. Someone cool. Someone, dare I say it, popular. Most of this mental picture was formed by the 70s-era sitcoms I watched over and over again after school. I could be cool, right? It was possible. Well, no, the actual cool kids let me know that wasn't going to happen after about a week. The good news was I met a friend who helped break that fall. She was the other new girl, and she was nice enough to overlook the fact that I was kind of a mess. Things were awkward for me at home, with a new stepfather at one house and my stepmother newly pregnant at the other. Things were equally awkward at school because I had no idea how to get out of my own head and just be a person. Eventually, I made a couple of nice friends, and it seemed as if I might survive the year and make it to high school. Now, back in 1986, in my hometown, by the time you made it to middle school, 5th grade, you were basically feral by current parenting standards. We rode our bikes all around town, buying slices of pizza with change we scrounged up. We loitered in the town square. We went to the shopping center and walked around for hours. No adults really knew where we were or what we were doing. Many, many things happened that parents seemed to know nothing about. By mid-year, there was a contagious outbreak of falling in love. First, one person would select another and let it be known that they liked them. The other person would often reciprocate the liking publicly, which was the start of being known as boyfriend and girlfriend. Within a couple of days, there was generally French kissing, followed by proclamations of love. This all seemed to be the norm, at least from my perspective. When it was my turn to participate in this ritual, I was a little shocked by how horrible it felt. I don't recall even liking the boy very much. I just remember being grateful that someone wanted to date me. After a couple of weeks, though, I couldn't take it. I wrote my friend a note about how I didn't like him anymore and how I wished I could be done with it. I went on to describe how I would very much prefer to be dating a cooler, older, more popular boy, but sadly, he had a much cooler than me girlfriend. I may have said something unkind about her, even though I recall her being a very nice person. My friend read the note in class, folded it up, and accidentally dropped it on the floor. It was picked up by another girl, whom I became friends with several years later, who saw her chance to do something dramatic and took it. She made lots of photocopies of that note, but first asked me to pay her $10 to delay passing them out around school. I suspected everyone already knew the contents of what I had written. They did. And also knew that I couldn't get my hands on $10 even if I sold my right kidney on the black market.